Hello Patreon supporters. This is my final video before I shut down the channel. I find that I stress a little bit about people feeling locked in and then feeling bad if they can't, keep the commitment up, and I just don't want to worry about that. So know that I welcome any support you feel like offering through PayPal whenever you feel like it. But I find that it's creating more stress than relief, and I really appreciate your support this last few months. It was really nice to feel the support part of it, so thank you. I'm going to read to you from a book called Quiet Mind, 1-Minute Retreats from a Busy World by David Koontz. And I thought I would just go through it and maybe just read one here and there. Just read a few of those to you tonight. I could use some ideas for quiet. My life it's mostly just work. It's quiet when I get home. And now that my son's grown, I find that it's fairly peaceful when I get home. But it's long days and overtime and all of that, so I could use a quiet mind. And looks like the book is about 370 pages. So I'll start with the foreword. It says, "We have collectively built an amazing world of technological wonder, of scientific marvels, and unparalleled productivity. But in the best of all possible worlds, we have learned so much about how to do that we have forgotten how to be. We want to know what to do about this. We want to fix our lives. We want to build better lives. We want to do more. But of course, doing can never bring us being. There is nothing to do. In this realization, something magical unfolds. Being is what remains when we stop trying so hard. In the stopping, we discover the vast spaciousness of life, of love, of connection. In Quiet Mind, David Koontz leads us to those quiet moments of stopping and stillness in which we can just be. Thus he shows us that it is life that we are grappling with, not an abstraction, not a spiritual system to be learned and practiced, but the vital, ever-changing, often overwhelming, but always present life that each of us lives every day with no vacations. Life is the unavoidable context with which we have been gifted, and that bestows on us the greatest of all opportunities, the discovery of the ground of being in each moment." And that foreword was written by Stephen Harrison, who apparently is the author of Doing Nothing. Sounds nice. A new way of dealing with life. Welcome. Welcome to a new way to cope with the demands of a too busy life. Welcome to a way that requires no difficult skills, adds no new burdens, and accommodates all spiritual systems and lifestyles. Welcome to all who would do nothing, more often, more creatively, with joy and without guilt. Welcome to 1-minute retreats that can be yours at any time of day or night. Welcome to a quiet mind, tranquility, calmness, and clarity. in the midst of a too busy world. Whatever you do, whatever project you undertake, whether personal or business, spiritual or physical, noble or mundane, if you do not begin it from a mindful posture, from the quiet state of your being, you are headed for disappointment and failure. You are headed for, it's the nature of things. It's the only successful way to begin anything. These reflections are based on and are examples of the practice of stopping, which is doing nothing, for as briefly as a minute or for as long as a month, for the purpose of becoming more fully awake and remembering who you are. You'll read about still points, the frequent momentary pauses in your day. You'll also find examples of stopovers and grinding halts, which are simply longer times of doing nothing, but with the same purpose, becoming more awake and intentional, recalling what you want and need, where you've come from, where you're going, and how you'll get there. Invitations. Oh, I just noticed I've got writing on my hand. I hope that's not distracting. I had to measure buildings, the exterior buildings today, and at one point I was far enough away from my pad that I wrote on my hand. So there's my little red tattoo. Invitations. Here you will find a brief invitation to take some time for yourself, to rest, to find peace, to awaken, to remember, and to find ways to recognize what you may have forgotten and how not to forget again. Each of the reflections can serve as still point, a pause for a purpose, to draw you to a moment of both rest and insight. You will also find meditations on longer times of rest and peace and encouragement to fit them into your schedule. Doing nothing. These reflections are invitations to do nothing and to do it with purpose, with meaning, and with value. These reflections want to lead you to transform wasted time into the most important times of your life. Times of stillness, solitude, peace, and equanimity. Welcome to A Quiet Mind. David Koontz, Kensington, California. Still moments in busy days. Chapter 1. I like that they're all short and quick. I like that. Because sometimes looking at a long chapter at the end of a stressful day feels like work to me. Okay, it starts with a little quote. It says, taking time to see. And it has a quote by Georgia O'Keeffe. Nobody sees a flower, really. It's so small. We haven't time, and to see takes time. These are the days of the time famine, says Odette Poller, in her newspaper column aimed at helping people work smarter. She cites some interesting statistics. According to a Harris survey, the amount of leisure time enjoyed by the average American has shrunk 37% since 1973. In the same period, the average work week, including commute time, has jumped from fewer than 41 hours to nearly 47 hours, and in some cases, up to 80 hours a week. I like the term time famine, and starvation is certainly an appropriate analogy for our situation. Many of us are starved for time, and we have a passionate desire to be fed. We are starving for those moments of solitude when we can just hang out, cleaning out a drawer or looking through old letters with no pressure or guilt. Our starvation deprives us of the nutrition that those in-between times used to give us. A feeling of centeredness in our lives, of awareness of our spiritual needs and those of our families. A confident sense of self-knowledge. George O'Keeffe's words ring authentic as you look at her paintings of flowers. She spent many, many hours doing nothing with a flower. No time for famine for her. Her artistic life in the desert was a statement against that idea, and we continue to benefit from the results. In a famine, at least in the best of situations, those who have help, those who have help those who have not. Thus, a question presents itself. Where are you in the time of famine? Among the haves or the have-nots, sometimes one, sometimes the other. And then it gives a little activity. Maybe that's not the right word. For the have-nots, today stop and really look at a flower, or an O'Keeffe rendering of one. And for the haves, help someone else do the same. All right. That's my little video for you tonight. And I think I will read some more of these at a later date on my regular ASMR channel, because I think this is something that many of us are craving right now. With so much activity going on in the world and a lot of angry people. If we can all stop and quiet our mind, maybe we can spread a little more of the peacefulness that we find with others. Thank you for your support, and have a wonderful night's rest.